the Council's worst fear. The Galactic Concord had one rule above all others. No civilization shall construct a warship capable of dominating the entire galaxy. A single ship, no matter how powerful, could not be allowed to tip the balance of power. And yet, that rule had just been broken. Inside the High Council's chamber, the air was thick with fear. Representatives from 100 species sat in stunned silence, their eyes locked on the hologram projected before them. It was a ship. A human ship. And it was impossible. This is a joke, right? A reptilian diplomat finally managed. No, came the grim reply. It's real. The image rotated, showing the ship's sleek, black frame, so large it dwarfed even the largest dreadnoughts in the known galaxy. Weapons bristled along its hull. Not plasma cannons. Not missiles. Something else. Something worse. What are those? An avian ambassador asked, her voice trembling. The lead intelligence officer hesitated before answering. We don't know. That sent a wave of panic through the chamber. You're telling me the humans built a ship so powerful you can't even identify its weapons? The officer's silence was all the answer they needed. And then came the real bombshell. It has already moved. Moved where? The officer swallowed hard. Into battle. A fleet erased. The Drakari Armada was undefeated. A species built for war, the Drakari had terrorized the outer sectors for centuries. They had destroyed fleets. Conquered worlds. And now they were about to pay for it. The first transmission came in garbled. We are under attack. Unknown. Impossible. Then a moment of silence. Then, screaming. The Galactic Concord intercepted a final image from a Drakari warship before the signal cut out. A black shape. A human vessel. Moving faster than any capital ship had a right to move. And then, the entire fleet vanished. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Just gone. The Council watched in horror. How? A High Chancellor whispered. No one had an answer. Find out what the humans have done. Now. The weapon that shouldn't exist. The Concord sent every available spy, agent and informant to uncover the truth. They found only whispers. The ship had no name. It was simply called Project Revenant. And its weapons? Reality disruptors. Weapons that didn't fire energy or matter. Weapons that erased. Not just ships, concepts. Targets didn't explode. They ceased to be. The spies sent their reports back to the Council. None of them made it home. The ultimatum. A single transmission arrived from Earth. A human admiral, calm, collected, unshaken. The Drakari have been dealt with. Let this be a warning. The Council's greatest leaders sat frozen. Because this wasn't a declaration of war. It was something far worse. It was a reminder. The humans had built something too powerful to be legal. And there was nothing anyone could do about it. A galaxy in crisis. Panic spread like wildfire. The Galactic Concord, the ruling power of the stars, was crumbling under its own fear. Every major species had the same question burning in their minds. What happens when the humans turn that ship against us? The Drakari had been the strongest military force in the Outer Rim. They had ruled with an iron fist, waged countless wars and never lost. Until now. Until a single human ship made them disappear. The High Council chambers were in chaos. We need immediate sanctions. Sanctions? You think humans care about diplomacy now? We must send a fleet. A fleet? They erased an entire armada without firing a single known weapon. For the first time in galactic history, the most powerful rulers of the stars were terrified. And for the first time ever, they had no plan. The fleet that would never arrive. Desperation bred reckless decisions. The Concord's military leaders had no choice. If the humans had created an illegal warship, then the rest of the galaxy had to act before it was too late. A task force was formed. 1,000 ships. Every species united. The largest fleet ever assembled. Their mission. Find Project Revenant. Disable it. Or destroy it. They never made it. The last transmission. The Armada moved with military precision. Thousands of ships jumped into hyperspace, their combined firepower enough to reduce entire planets to rubble. And then, silence. The first few hours were normal. The fleet maintained communication. Their sensors were clear. But then, one ship stopped responding. Then another. And another. Until nothing remained. The last transmission came from a warship at the rear of the fleet. Something's here. It's not attacking, it's just watching us. Reality feels wrong. Wait. And then silence. The entire armada, gone. Not a single wreck. Not a single escape pod. Not a single distress beacon. The greatest fleet in galactic history had simply ceased to exist. And the humans? They said nothing. The Council's breaking point. Back on the Concord homeworld, the Council convened in absolute terror. We're doomed. They can erase entire fleets. Entire civilizations. We need to negotiate, immediately. For the first time, the most powerful leaders in the galaxy considered the unthinkable. Surrender. A human warship too powerful to be legal had just rewritten the laws of war. The galaxy had one option left. Beg for mercy. A plea to the monsters. The Galactic Concord had ruled the stars for over 1,000 years. They had crushed rebellions, silenced insurrections, conquered entire civilizations. But now, they were the ones trembling. The last fleet they sent against the humans never returned. Not a single ship. Not a single distress call. Nothing. It was as if they had never existed. And now, the rulers of the galaxy had come to a grim realization. The humans didn't just build an illegal warship. They built a god. And it was watching. The Concord's highest officials gathered in secret. We must open negotiations. No demands. No conditions. We beg for peace. We must offer them everything, territory, technology, resources, anything they want. A transmission was sent. A single message sent directly to the Terran High Command. A desperate plea. We surrender. And the humans finally responded. The humans' answer. The response came as a single video feed. The Council held its breath as the human admiral appeared on screen. He looked calm. Not angry. Not vengeful. Just disinterested. Then he spoke. Surrender? He let the word linger. You think this is a war? A cold silence settled over the Council chamber. The humans had not asked for territory. They had not demanded tribute. They had not even acknowledged the Concord as an enemy. The realization hit like a supernova. The humans had never seen them as a threat. The Admiral leaned forward. There will be no treaty. There will be no negotiations. The Council members stiffened. You don't understand, do you? The human continued. This isn't about war. His voice dropped to a whisper. This is about balance. The hologram zoomed out, revealing the human warship, Project Revenant. The weapon too powerful to exist. We built this ship because we had to. Because we saw what was coming. And trust me, you should be more afraid of that than us. The Concord's rulers stared in confusion. What are you talking about? One of them demanded. The Admiral only smiled. You'll see soon enough. The transmission cut out, leaving only one question hanging in the air. What were the humans preparing for? The warning. The Concord's greatest leaders stood in shock. The humans had rejected their surrender. Not because they wanted more. Not because they sought domination. But because they simply didn't care. That was terrifying. Because a civilization that did not seek conquest was a civilization that was not afraid of anyone. Which meant, the humans weren't the biggest threat in the galaxy. Something else was coming. And the humans were the only ones ready. The silence before the storm. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Galactic Concord had no plan. The humans had denied their surrender. They had wiped out their strongest fleets without effort. And worst of all, they were waiting for something. Something worse than them. The Concord's rulers gathered in an emergency session. What did the human mean? What is coming? Are they lying? Manipulating us? They rejected our surrender. That means they have no intention of conquest. That was what frightened them the most. The humans didn't want war. Because they had bigger concerns. And if a species capable of erasing entire armadas was afraid of something, then it was already too late. The first anomaly. The first reports came from the outer colonies. Entire planets were going dark. Not conquered. Not bombarded. Not wiped out. Just gone. No wreckage. No debris. No distress signals. Planets that had existed for millennia were now empty. Not lifeless. Empty. As if nothing had ever lived there at all. The Concord's best scientists analyzed the data. It's as if these worlds never existed. And then, a final horror. Something was still moving. Not a ship. Not an army. Something else. Something old. And it was heading straight for the core worlds. The last warning. A final transmission came from the humans. The same admiral. The same calm, collected face. Now you understand. You thought we built the Revenant to conquer? We built it to survive. Pause. We fought wars with each other for thousands of years. We thought we were the greatest threat to ourselves. We were wrong. He leaned forward, his voice low and steady. You sit in your council chambers, believing you rule this galaxy. But this galaxy is not yours. It never was. The screen flickered. A new image appeared. Something vast. A shadow moving through the void. Bigger than a dreadnought. Bigger than a fleet. Bigger than anything. The Concord leaders stared in horror. What is that? The admiral's voice was ice. That? That is the reason we don't care about your fleets. That is the reason your wars mean nothing. That is what we built the Revenant for. And now? Now it's here. The end of an era. The Galactic Concord had once believed themselves invincible. They had ruled the stars for centuries. Now they could only watch as the true enemy arrived. The humans had built an illegal warship. Not to conquer. Not to dominate. But to buy time. The screen flickered. The shadow moved closer. And then, everything changed. End of story. Fire like this story? Subscribe so you never miss what happens next. Fire.